Hello, my name is Alexander Pavlov, and today I'll be presenting about Thomas Hobbes and his work Leviathan. Thomas Hobbes was an influential English philosopher from the 17th century. He is best known for his political philosophy presented in his work Leviathan, and his quite skeptical approach of the topic of human nature. About human nature. Hobbes suggests that humans are fundamentally selfish and driven by desires. He argues that individuals act primarily out of self-interest, seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. This perspective leads him to conclude that humans are not naturally good. They are rather hedonistic beings who prioritize their own survival and satisfaction above all else. He famously characterizes this state of hedonism as solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. Another one of his most famous quotes is "A man to a man is a wolf," symbolizing that humans with their nature, with their hostility and lack of empathy for the others as their main nature. So now let's imagine a world with no rules, no governments, no laws or social norms. What will happen with this world? There will be absolute chaos and evil. With no authority, there cannot be peace and good in society. According to Hobbes, all of this would be the result of the pure state of nature of humans. So, now to escape this terrible chaos of the state of nature, Hobbes suggests that individuals must collectively agree to form a social contract. With this social contract, surrendering some of their freedoms in exchange for security. Hobbes identifies two forms of sovereignty: sovereignty in institution and by acquisition. In sovereignty by institution, people willingly agree to obey a common authority, as we will later see. And sovereignty by acquisition, where power is taken through force, but still requires the consent of those governed for its legitimacy. The second one is not that important in this context, as Hobbes focuses mainly on the sovereignty by institution. He asserts that political obligation arises from this social contract. Once individuals agree to submit to the sovereign's authority for protection, they cannot justly rebel unless their safety is threatened. This leads to the establishment of a sovereign authority, an entity with absolute power to enforce laws and maintain order. Hobbes argues that this sovereignty must be strong enough to prevent any return to the state of survival of nature. Otherwise, society will risk descending back into the chaos and violence in this world with no rules and no laws. Now, the Leviathan. Now we reach the point where we'll talk about Hobbes' most famous work. The idea of the Leviathan comes from a biblical myth. In the Old Testament of the Bible, there is this gigantic creature called Leviathan, and it eats the damsels and even tries to oppose and overthrow God. In the end, God kills him, and that's it. In other words, in Hobbes' work, the Leviathan symbolizes the state or the society itself. It is depicted as an artificial person composed of its citizens. As you can see, the main body of the Leviathan is composed of different people, symbolizing the unity of the society. It is depicted as an artificial person. The sovereignty is likened to the head of this body politic, wielding absolute power, as the sword symbolizes, to ensure the common defense and prevent civil war. Hobbes argues that even though this is an undeniable power who cannot be opposed, this authority must be invisible. Any division or limitation on the sovereign's power could lead back to chaos and conflict. But now, There's a problem or a couple of problems with the Leviathan. First of all is the problem with absolute authority. Hobbes supports the idea for a sovereign with absolute power to ensure peace and order. However, this concentration of power can lead to tyranny. An example can be the totalitarian regimes where the massive political body oppresses the citizens. This ungoverned power may lead to tyranny if it's not controlled. Second problem is that individuals give up a significant portion of their own freedom and rights. Things can take a dangerous turn if citizens start giving up basic human rights, as John Locke suggested, and let themselves not be ruled, not be only ruled, but fully controlled as well is the worst case scenario. So thank you for your attention, and that's it.